In March of 2020, the gun care aisle at every sporting goods store emptied. Not in a week, not in 3 days, in about 72 hours. Rem Oil was gone, Break Free was gone, Hoppe's was gone, bore, solvent, gun oil, corrosion, protectant, all of it. Off the shelf, I know hunters who could not clean their rifles properly for 3 months because every product they depended on had disappeared. What did not disappear was the hardware store aisle 2 blocks over kerosene mineral oil, sewing machine oil, Cosmoline, all of it still on the shelf. Because most people do not know those products clean and protect rifles. And that is the only reason they were still there. This is not a fear video. I am not telling you the world is ending or that you should panic buy anything. I am telling you that supply disruptions for specialty products happen. They happened in 2020. They happened after September 11th. They happen in any period of elevated demand for firearm-related products. And every time they happen, the hunters who know the hardware store system have what they need while everyone else is waiting for a Rem Oil restock that is still 6 weeks out. The complete system is 6 products. You can have all of them on your shelf for under $20. They store for years without degrading, and they replace every product in the gun care aisle that ever goes out of stock. I want to make something clear about how I think about this. Preparedness is not the same as fear. A hunter who keeps a 2-year supply of gun care products on the shelf is the same kind of person who keeps a spare tire in the truck. Not because they expect a blowout today, but because when it happens, they are not stranded on the side of a highway calling for help. The people who cleaned their rifles through 2020 without interruption were not doomsday preppers. They were hunters who happened to know what the hardware store carried and had a few bottles on the shelf because they bought ahead when they were there anyway. That is the entire level of preparation this video is about, not a bunker, not a year of supplies, $20 worth of products, from stores that never ran out because nobody thought to buy them. Let me walk through each one. Mineral oil or sewing machine oil. Mineral oil. USP at the pharmacy costs around $8 for a 16-ounce bottle. Sewing machine oil at a fabric store costs around $2 for a small bottle. Both are lightweight mineral-based oils that lubricate the action and prevent oxidation. Shelf life is indefinite in a sealed container. Neither product degrades meaningfully over time at room temperature. Buy 2 bottles of one or the other and put them in the back of a cabinet. That is your lubrication supply for several years. Before I go through the rest of the list, I want to point you somewhere. The complete storage, protocol shelf life, documentation, and product amounts for a full year are inside the Hunter's Vault. Scan the QR code showing in the top left of your screen right now, or find the link in the description below and get the full documented prep list in there. Kerosene $1 per quart at any hardware store. Kerosene is your cleaning solvent. It dissolves powder fouling and carbon residue from the bore and the action. It is the same carrier base used in Ed's red shelf life of kerosene in a sealed metal container is essentially indefinite. It does not oxidize the way petroleum motor oil does. Buy 1 quart and store it in a sealed container away from heat sources. That quart will last you several seasons of cleaning ammonium carbonate powder, $3 at a hardware store or chemical supply counter. This is your copper solvent. Mix 1 teaspoon in 8 ounces of distilled water when you need it. The powder stores indefinitely in a sealed, dry container. It does not degrade unless it gets wet. 1 small container of powder makes dozens of batches of copper solvent. Stock 1 container and you have copper cleaning covered for years. I want to add one thing about distilled water before the ammonium carbonate. The copper solvent protocol requires distilled water, not tap water. Tap water. Minerals interfere with the chemical reaction. A gallon of distilled water costs under $2 at any grocery store. Shelf life in a sealed container is indefinite. Add a gallon to the kit. It takes up almost no space, and it is the one ingredient you cannot substitute. Total kit so far, mineral oil, $8. Kerosene, $1. Ammonium carbonate, $3. Distilled water, $2, $14. 2 more products to go and the kit is complete. One more note on kerosene storage. Kerosene needs to be stored in a sealed metal container, not plastic. Plastic containers allow slow vapor loss over time. A metal fuel can from any hardware store costs around $5. It will store kerosene safely for a decade without degradation. Keep it away from heat sources and out of direct sunlight. Label the container with the date you filled it. That is the entire storage requirement for the most useful solvent in the kit. Coming up, I walk through the last 2 products on the list and the total kit cost. The last 2 products in the kit complete the system. Chromium oxide powder, around $4 at an art supply store or online. This is the blade and broadhead sharpener, the same compound barbers have used on leather strops for over a century. Apply it to a piece of leather or cardboard and you have a precision strop. It maintains the edge on hunting knives, skinning knives, and broadheads. Without removing metal, the way a grinding stone does, shelf life is indefinite. The powder does not degrade. One small container maintains every blade in the kit for years. Cosmoline $342, around $4 at a hardware store or military surplus outlet. This is the long-term storage protectant. It does not evaporate. It creates a physical barrier against moisture and oxidation. Military rifles were preserved under Cosmoline for 50 years and came out serviceable. If a rifle goes into storage for more than 3 months, Cosmoline goes on every metal surface. Shelf life in a sealed container is essentially indefinite. One container treats multiple rifles across multiple storage cycles that completes the kit. Mineral oil, sewing machine oil, kerosene ammonium carbonate, chromium oxide, Cosmoline, 6 products. Under $25, including the metal storage container for the kerosene. Now, let me tell you how to store the kit properly. Keep the liquid products together in a small dedicated container or shelf away from heat. Label everything with the purchase date. Kerosene in a sealed metal can, oils in their original sealed bottles, ammonium carbonate in a sealed dry container away from moisture. Chromium oxide and Cosmoline are both solid or semi-solid at room temperature. They can be stored anywhere that stays reasonably cool and dry. The entire kit fits in a shoebox. When you travel to a hunting camp, you take what you need and leave the rest at home. You are never dependent on what the sporting goods store near the camp has in stock. That is the practical value of the system beyond any crisis scenario. One thing I want to clarify about Cosmoline before you go buy it, it has to be completely removed from the bore before firing. Cosmoline in a sealed bore creates a pressure hazard. When you take a stored rifle out, flush the bore with kerosene first. Run dry patches until the patches come back clean, then run the full cleaning session before the rifle goes to the field. That is a non-negotiable step, and it is in the storage protocol for a reason. A rifle out of Cosmoline storage is not ready to shoot until the bore is confirmed clear. It takes 10 minutes, do it every time. The rest of the Cosmoline on the exterior surfaces can be wiped down at the bench. Mineral spirits or kerosene on a rag removes it completely from metal surfaces. The action needs a flush and re-oil before the first use. Follow the complete session protocol from the system video and the rifle is ready. That is the full Cosmoline cycle. Start of storage through return to service. Everything documented and nothing left out. Now let me address one thing directly. I have heard the argument that this is overcomplicated, that it is easier to just buy a bottle of Rem Oil when you need it. That argument assumes the bottle will be there when you need it. In March of 2020, it was not. After a major hurricane along the Gulf Coast in 2017, sporting goods stores in the affected areas were stripped of gun care products within 48 hours. People who had the hardware store kit at home had nothing to worry about. People who depended on the gun counter had a problem. That is the only argument this video is making. Know what substitutes for the specialty products. Have them on your shelf before you need them. I want to give you the total cost one more time with everything included. Mineral oil, $8. Kerosene, $1, plus $5. For the metal can, ammonium carbonate, $3. Distilled water, $2. Chromium oxide, $4. Cosmoline, $4. $27 total. That kit covers lubrication, copper cleaning powder, cleaning long-term storage, and blades for a hunting rifle, and every blade in the kit. For several years of regular use, the equivalent product lineups at a gun store or sporting goods counter runs $60 to $90 and covers maybe 1 to 2 seasons before you restock. The Crisis Prep Guide inside the Hunter's Vault. Documents shelf life for every kit product. Storage requirements, temperature ranges, and the full list of what to buy and how much. Scan the QR code showing in the top left of the screen right now, or hit the link in the description below. If your gun care shelf has only branded products on it right now, spend $25 at the hardware store this weekend. You will never be caught without a way to clean your rifle again. Go get the full list right now while you're watching. And before you close out, hit subscribe, because next week we are taking this kit into the field and testing every product under conditions that would kill a standard gun care routine.